Austin ISD holds a town hall meeting to get community feedback about its next superintendent.
I would like to see our superintendent be present.
Parents will have another chance to weigh in and the district's deadline to fill the position. Stationing medics inside Austin Bergstrom International Airport, the new pilot program rolling out ahead of increased travel for festival season. And a glitch allowing certain vehicles to be stolen with ease.
It's just sad to think more out of just someone can casually just go do that to somebody's vehicle.
The fix now rolling out to impacted owners. CBS Austin News at 10 starts now.
The search for Austin ISD's next superintendent is underway. Tonight, the district held a town hall to get feedback from the community about the qualities they'd like to see in their next leader.
CBS Austin's Paige Hubbard joins us live in the studio now with this Crisis in the Classroom report and explains why teachers and parents hope the next candidate will be here to stay. Paige, the turnover has just been brutal.
It has, Walt, and this will be the 5th superintendent the Austin Independent School District has seen in just within the past 3 years. That's part of the reason why the community feels consistency is needed for the district's success. Sandra Flores is a 6th grade English teacher at Webb Middle School. She was just one of the attendees giving feedback during Austin ISD's superintendent search town hall Tuesday evening.
I think that because we have not had a permanent superintendent, there has been no permanent solution to the problems that we are facing, and the problems and the challenges are many.
Flores hopes the next candidate will have the patience to stay and turn things around. To help with the search, AISD's Board of Trustees enlisted the help of GR Recruitment. They're a national superintendent search firm that assists districts in finding suitable candidates. Gloria Davis is the firm's lead recruiter.
March 22nd is when we will meet with the Board of Trustees and bring a summary of everything that we have heard throughout the course of this week. Then we will start the official advertisement process for 30 days and then come back in April.
I think we want someone who is going to stand up for us, stand up for our communities, and stand up for our kids.
Neil Dillon is a dual language social studies teacher at Webb Middle School. He feels one of the biggest challenges the superintendent will face is enrollment.
We've been losing a lot of kids over the past couple years. That impacts our funding, and then keeping the talented teachers in the classroom.
Attendees say they want the next superintendent to be transparent, solution-oriented, and a leader for all.
I believe some longevity for him to call Austin home. I think that's a really important part. Someone that wants to be here and that wants to stay here, just like I do.
Tomorrow, AISD will hold a 4th town hall meeting. The district says at the end of May, they'll announce the new candidate, and their first day on the job will be July 1st. Reporting live in the studio, Paige Hubbard, CBS Austin News.
A big job. Thanks, Paige. We want to hear from you. Send us your tips for our Crisis in the Classroom team. Call 512-522-5788 or email cbsaustinClassTips@gmail.com. Austin Travis County EMS has launched a new airport medic pilot program at Austin Bergstrom International Airport. This is the first time medics will be inside the terminal to respond faster to emergency calls. CBS Austin's Ricardo Lewis joining us live from the airport tonight. Ricardo, this is just in time for all of these South by Southwest crowds coming in this weekend. Plus, you know, we've got NASCAR and match play. This will be interesting to see how it works out.
Yeah, there will be a lot of people coming through this airport sometime this year. And before this program started, ambulances had to come to the airport, park outside, and then medics had to be escorted inside. That took a lot of time in their getting to the patients that they needed to get to. So now EMS is hopeful that having medics here on the ground will help speed up the process.
When you walk through Austin Bergstrom International Airport's terminal, you'll now be greeted with new faces. Austin Travis County EMS has not had medics at ABIA or Austin's airport. We relied on 911 system ambulances to respond to medical calls.
Medics will now be on the terminal side past the TSA screening point so medics can actively respond to emergency calls more quickly without having to send an ambulance.
What we know about the airport is that about 65% of the patients do not end up needing to go to the hospital.
Assistant Chief Wesley Hopkins says last year Austin Travis County EMS ran about 1,600 calls at the airport.
So the goal by having medics at the airport is to not utilize that ambulance for a response to the airport when we can.
Right now, the pilot program allows 1 to 2 medics to be on site.
I know it's only like 1 or 2 getting moved over there for this, but does that impact anything going on in the city since you guys are still so stretched for staff?
I think that this is a pilot program, and so to effectively put 4 personnel assigned there full time, we'll have at least 1 person on every day. But being a pilot program, we will look as we fill vacancies to expand this program.
The need for medics has increased as Austin's airport continues to see more travelers. ABIA spokesperson Sam Haynes says upwards of 30,000 people fly out of the airport every day.
We know that emergencies can happen anywhere at any time. The airport is certainly not immune from that. And so having medics on site, being able to respond to people in the terminal as soon as possible is really a great partnership and a great benefit to this program.
So we know as we get into South by with Film and Interactive and then into music, there'll be an influx of people coming into Austin.
Now, more than 21 million people flew in and out of the airport last year, and that's record-breaking. This pilot program will last for 1 year, and construction has already started on an EMS quarters here at the airport. We're live at ABIA. Ricardo Lewis, CBS Austin News.
5 Texas women impacted by the abortion ban are now suing the state. They all suffered pregnancy complications that claimed the lives of their unborn children and put their own lives at risk when they couldn't get the health care they needed. Anna Zargarian, Lauren Miller, Lauren Hall, and Amanda Zarowski shared their stories outside the state capitol today. While 3 other women went out of the state for medical care, Zarowski stayed in Austin, but doctors wouldn't treat her until she was septic and needed intensive care.
There's nothing pro-life about this. It not only endangered my own life, but the lives of my future children, because we know it's going to be harder for me to get pregnant again medically.
One lawmaker behind some of these states' strict abortion banning laws has said some of these women should have gotten medical help in Texas. All are asking the court to clarify exactly when doctors can provide abortions under the medical emergency exception.
Texas Senator Roland Gutierrez rolled out another round of gun safety legislation aimed at keeping Texans safe and ensuring there's never a repeat of the Uvalde school shooting last May that took the lives of 19 students and 2 teachers.
You need to put yourself in the shoes of these families and understand and ask yourself what it would be like just a day without your child, a week without your child, or a month or forever. And when you begin to ask yourself that very important question, you'll understand that we have not done enough as policymakers on these issues.
Here's the list. SB 1737 bans expanding, fragmenting bullets. SB 1736 closes gun show loopholes and requires vendors and promoters to do background checks on gun sales. SB 1740 requires guns and ammo stored in a vehicle to be in a locked container and hidden from sight. SB 1738 creates an automatic suspension for a law enforcement officer involved in the shooting of a child. And SB 1739 requires life without parole for school shooters. The 5 bills today brings the total gun safety legislation filed by Gutierrez and other colleagues to 21, which they say they wanted to do for the 21 lives lost in Uvalde.
Now your Storm Tracker weather.
Full worm moon is out there. It's still really murky, though, very muggy in place. Warm and muggy. Today's high temperature made it up to 82 degrees. And under cover of darkness, we're still sitting at 73. Unlike last night where we saw some pockets of fog at times, bordering on dense. I don't think we'll see quite as much heading into tomorrow, but I do think we will be clouding up. Currently outside, everyone has fallen into the low to middle 70s across central Texas. And in case you're wondering, some spots, for instance, out at the airport, running as much as 11 degrees warmer right now than this time yesterday. All right, the big picture. There is some cool air. It's 38 up in the Panhandle. Ahead in your CBS Austin 7-day, I'll track when that cold front finally gets here. In the meantime, through the rest of the night, sitting pretty as we cloud up.
Right now, the FBI, Homeland Security, and other federal agencies are waiting to hear when autopsies will be done on 2 victims of Friday's kidnapping in Mexico. 2 other victims survived.
Yami Virgen is in Brownsville tonight, where the 2 survivors are getting medical treatment.
These were the horrific sounds of the ambush on Friday when 4 U.S. citizens were kidnapped in broad daylight in Matamoros, Mexico. After a number of raids overnight by Mexican authorities, around 8 a.m., all 4 were found, 2 alive, 2 dead.
Obviously, Mexico is going to be doing their investigations. We have to wait till they release the bodies before they can come back here.
It was in this building in the outskirts of Matamoros, going towards a beach area called Baghdad, about 40 minutes away from the Texas resort area of South Padre Island. Shaid Woodard and Sindel Brown were dead inside. McGee and Williams were alive and then were taken to the Veterans Bridge, where the exchange took place with the FBI, Homeland Security, and other federal agents. They were then brought here to Valley Regional Hospital in Brownsville. According to former Homeland Security agent in charge of South Texas, Jerry Robinette, regular commerce that goes back and forth will now suffer the consequences of this brazen attack on U.S. citizens.
This is not good for business if you're the cartel, because they know what happens next. There's going to be additional scrutiny at the ports of entry along the border. You're going to have people turning over rocks. You're going to have people interviewing. There's going to be a lot of enforcement action to follow and invest a case like this. And sure enough, you're going to find things that they don't want you to find. So this is not good for business.
Latavia McGee is due to fly back to South Carolina tomorrow, according to her family. In Brownsville, I'm Yami Virgen reporting.
It was found kind of in the middle of nowhere. Like in the front end, it was completely crashed. The whole bumper was out.
Kias and Hyundais being stolen more than other cars. The glitch that's making these thefts easier to pull off, and the fix being offered now to owners.
Today, Camp Mabry hit 82 degrees, the airport 80, and it was as warm as 86 out in Mason County. Definitely feeling more like May than March. But March allergies are here, specifically oak in the high range for yet another day. Hackberry, moderate, cedar, ash, mulberry, pine, and mold all low. Here's a word from our sponsor.
If you're a recent high school grad or even someone who's been out for a while, you don't have to attend a 4-year college. Great jobs exist for you right now, particularly pest control specialists. While you learn, we'll pay you good wages and guide you through all licensing. You'll receive medical benefits, paid time off, and automatic enrollment in our 401k plan with matching funds. You'll be learning from one of the best pest control companies in the country. We've been around for over 70 years. Fill out an application and get started in a great career.
One insurance group notes certain models of Kia and Hyundais are being stolen at almost twice the rate of the rest of the auto industry. That's because they don't have anti-theft devices.
Now, companies are trying to fix that. Jordan Elder shares how you can get these upgrades if you've been impacted.
Dealerships in San Antonio say they're ready to install new software that would make it so these cars won't start unless there's a key inside the vehicle. It was Elena Gonzalez's prized possession, her Kia Optima stolen right from her front yard.
It was found kind of in the middle of nowhere. Like in the front end, it was completely crashed. The whole bumper was out.
Police tell her they think the car was stolen as part of an internet trend. Certain models of Kias and Hyundais targeted because of missing software.
It's just sad to think more like out of just like someone can casually just go do that to somebody's vehicle.
And Gonzalez isn't alone. This January, San Antonio police say more than 270 Kias and almost 180 Hyundais were stolen. The problem is getting so bad that some insurance companies won't issue policies on these cars. But auto companies say new software on this device could be a solution.
That will allow the vehicle to only start when it can detect the key in the vehicle.
Brian Rodriguez runs Ancira Kia in San Antonio.
Right now, they're starting with Optimas, but anything year 2022 and older, starting to roll out in phases.
He says it could take years to get to each model impacted. The U.S. Department of Transportation says Hyundai will also be offering anti-theft software. And both companies will add a window sticker like this one, warning thieves of the new upgrade. Gonzalez recently received this letter alerting her of upgrades for her stolen car. In your mind, is it too little, too late?
I would say just a little, but for them to do it themselves and not charge people, I think it's a good thing.
Kia and Hyundai say they're working with local law enforcement agencies to hand out physical steering wheel locks as well. San Antonio police say they haven't received any word about when that service might be available here.
Now, your Storm Tracker weather with Chief Meteorologist Chicago Windler.
Austin is getting busy as so many people from out of town are coming in for South by and other events. All the while, temperatures are unseasonably warm. 73 right now, 82 was our high today. So what we're going to see is a transition with our next cold front coming in from more like May to more like typical March. In other words, no huge cool down, but a noticeable change. Outside right now, everyone's sitting in the 70s across the board. We've got plentiful humidity in place as well. But look up to the north, it's 38 in Amarillo. So what gives? There's a cold front to our north, and we are going to stay on the warm side of this. This front stalled for another couple of days. It doesn't move through until Thursday night into Friday morning. Meantime, along that front, there is a narrow corridor of storms, which will stay well to our north, not only tonight, but also again tomorrow. Our lone storm chance in the next 7 days comes overnight Thursday and into Friday morning. Our by hour forecast for tomorrow. We're going to start with clouds in place. Probably not as much fog as we saw earlier this morning. 66 out the door, and at the bus stop, high temperature 83. The record is 89 degrees. That's here in Austin. Upper 70s out in the Western Hill Country, and right around 83 degrees expected for places like Giddings and LaGrange. Then for Thursday, that's when the heat peaks ahead of the cold front. Behind the front, this is definitely not cold, but it's cooler for Friday, right around 70. Now that's for Austin. If you're farther south, you may still be near 80 on Friday. If you're farther north, like in Mason, you might be only around 60 or so. So in other words, stay tuned. This front is basically what is going to be, well, determining our fates in the next several days. So plan on daily clouds breaking to some sun breaks and very warm air. Here's Thursday afternoon ahead of the front. New development, we might see some isolated storms pop up late Thursday evening. Then the cold front starts to drop its way down, and it may stall down to our south. Here's something interesting. By late Friday, we could be talking 60s in Mason and near 80 in LaGrange. That is the cold front. Here's your 7-day forecast. So we've got a couple of days of warmth in the 80s. We bring in that possibility of some rain, heaviest off to the north. Then we bump right back up into the 80s for the upcoming weekend as we spring forward. We'll be right back.
Minnesota Vikings wide receiver KJ Osborne credits being in the right place at the right time with saving the life of a man involved in a crash early Monday morning at Mopac. He was in an Uber when the car in front of him crashed into a pole and then caught fire. Osborne and 4 others stopped to pull the driver to safety. APD says the driver went to the hospital for treatment and is expected to be okay. The cause of the crash is still under investigation tonight.
Yeah, glad they were there. Certainly very brave to help out. Bob's here now at sports. Austin kicking off its run in the CONCACAF Champions League tonight.
I know we've all been waiting all night to hear you say the word CONCACAF.
CONCACAF, I love it.
The question is, how excited was Austin FC for it? Plus, David and Sam, their history together, and what tonight means for both. That's in CBS Austin Sports next.
This is the Thomas J. Henry Sports Desk.
Sebastian Driussi is to Austin FC what any superstar is to any team. Jossie Zardes made the move to Austin so he could play alongside a player like Driussi and lead the Verde to new heights. It's a long year with a lot of games, and Josh Wolf needs to balance who will play when. Neither Driussi nor Zardes made the trip to the Dominican Republic tonight. Austin qualified as one of 16 teams in the CONCACAF Champions League thanks to their run in the West Finals. First leg of 2 against Violette AC out of Haiti, and it does not start well. Miche Nader Cherry gets free in the box and snaps a header home to give Violette a 1-0 lead. And Cherry wasn't done. This is not a replay. He's free in the box again. Same result. 2-0 Violette at the half. Just need to get a goal on the road, and it happens. It's just an own goal. After an excellent Brad Suver save, that one goes in the back of the net. Austin will need at least 3 goals next Tuesday at home. At least. Violette wins tonight in a disaster, 3-0.
Really disappointed with the result, the performance to a lot of degree. But again, I'm going to take responsibility. I did not get these guys wound up enough to compete and understand what this was going to be about, even as much as we talked about it. But, we'll rebound. We got a big game against Salt Lake on the weekend. We'll fly back tomorrow, and we got to lick our wounds, rally, and get ready for another big match.
David Pierce's first collegiate job was at Sam Houston as a head coach. Pierce spent 3 seasons there, compiling a winning percentage of 66% and leading the Bearcats to the regional all 3 years. It's a different orange now, but Sam will always hold a place in David's heart. Of course, nights like tonight, Pierce would love to curb stomp his old school. Horns on a 9-game win streak against the Bearcats, but that looks in danger early. Horns up 1-0 when Walker Yannick unloads. Yannick blasts a 3-run home run towering shot. His 4th of the year. Sam takes a 3-1 lead. Now listen, we could show you part of the Horns' 4-run 6 that gave him the lead for good, but Chicks dig the long ball. Mitchell Daly's first of the year. Horns win 7-5 and will host Mercer tomorrow night. Steve Sarkisian is already passing some of his true freshmen, including 5-star running back C.J. Baxter and wideouts Jonte Cook and DeAndre Moore. The latter 2 are joining a loaded wide receivers room, one that Sark is already praising for a lot of different reasons.
You bring A.D. Mitchell in, and I think we all know what he's capable of. We'll see how far he can go. Jonte and DeAndre Moore both look really good. They're serious about their craft and feel good about kind of where they were after day one. I definitely feel like that group took a step in a positive direction.
Brennan Marion's departure as wide receivers coach opened the door for Sark to revisit his expectations there. The result? The hire of Chris Jackson from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jackson is a much-needed addition because it's a missing piece Sark needed.
It has not been ideal, I'll say that, when for a lot of our kids, Xavier, Jordan, 3 years, 3 different receiver coaches. So 1 was stability. 2 was the experience of coaching at the NFL level and what that looked like from a developmental standpoint. I like his presence. I like his command. I think he shows a great deal of maturity, but still has a lot of youth to the way he goes about his business.
Rodney Terry's excellent job stepping in the toughest of circumstances was special, and in doing so, Terry is earning some honors of his own. He is a national finalist for 2 National Coach of the Year honors. The Horns open the Big 12 tournament on Thursday. Stay with us. Back after this.
Next couple of days, more like May. Cold front comes through Thursday night into Friday morning. Friday, more like March. This weekend, more like May. Next week, more like March.
Have you noticed the worms coming out tonight?
Something about a moon, right?
Heard about that.
Yeah. Heard about